Williams 2014 stated that employment relationship is the heart of any industrial relation system. Freud 2012 suggested that psychology is the only science without a definition due to the vastness of billions of individual minds. In order for international organizations to succeed, they must treat everyone individually according to their needs. These could include travel issues, accommodation, pay and benefits. Lucio 2013 explains that employees are influenced by factors such as pay, benefits, rewards and recognitions, as well as promotions. This is linked to Maslow's hierarchy of needs, which states that each employee needs basics, working their way up to more substantial needs. Everyone who works in a career-orientated field wants to progress and earn and learn more. International organizations need to make sure that if opportunities do arise, all employees in their respective fields have the chance to excel and go above and beyond. This will help employees trust, commit, and be loyal in an organization. They will feel safe and secure in their job role, and it will motivate them to work harder and excel in their fields, as well as being more career-driven. According to Charles 2002, in previous years where employment laws were not adhered, employment relationships were based on basic contracts for wage in return of labor. In today's world, a contract does not just involve this, but many organizations promise their employees a lot more as expectations have gone up. Harvard says trust in between both an employer and an employee is crucial for binding positive psychological contract for the betterment of an organization. The difference in economic change has made both parties aware of psychological contracts. International organizations, when employing, need to make a job offer which is tempting and of interest to the employee. For example, could be Emirates Graduate Training Scheme, which pays £17,000 per annum and is to be taken up in Dubai. As this is not a lot of money for an employer to live in the UAE, they add additional clauses in the contracts like accommodation and flight concessions to attract different types of people. Branson 2014 stated that not imposing decisions on employees but asking their opinion and helping shape the company and help in decision making will make them feel more involved and recognized. Feelings of an employee can also be shared on social media, which is a highly going trend which can make or break a company. Involving employees and letting them draw an understanding and opinion of the future of the company will make them feel valued and motivated. They will psychologically feel and understand they have made a decision and have been given importance, in which soft models like Harvard state. However, as there are two sides to an argument, Study Mode 2006 suggests that if employee relationships are negative, it is the organization that suffers because of the bad employment relationship. This does not bring any benefit to the company, and any services provided by employees will be undesirable. Bratton 2012 states organizations with a bad employment relationship will produce bad service. Staff will not be motivated and will just come and get paid to work, but not have a passion for the organization. According to the Employee Survey 2011, 96% of employees do not have faith in their management. This is a huge number to consider and puts many things in perspective. That's why international organizations must make sure they give enough importance, useful contract clauses and consideration of their employees in needs for them to come and work for them. These employees would leave their country of residence to work for another company, which is a big major decision, and they need to be shown that they are valued and appreciated. The difference of bad and good employment relationships is when employees feel motivated, valued by an organization, not just tangible, valued by a piece of paper, but their skill sets, abilities, and talent. When they are valued, they will feel extremely motivated and work together towards a united organization internationally.
Legal relationship. According to Foot and Hook 2005, the legal relationship between an employer and the employees depends on the location where the employment laws are governed. For example, British Airways, which is situated within the UK, will follow the employment laws which applies to the UK. The employment relationship is a legal notion widely used in countries around the world to refer to the relationship between a person called an employee and an employer for whom the employee performs work under certain conditions in return for remunerations. It is through the employment relationship, however defined, that reciprocal rights and obligations are created between the employee and the employer. Labor law. It defines your rights and obligations as worker and employers. It covers working conditions such as working hours, part-time and fixed-term work, posting of workers. It also covers informing and consulting workers about collective redundancies, transfers of companies, etc. Contract of employment. A contract of employment is an agreement between an employer and employee and is the basis of the employment relationship. Most employment contracts do not need to be in writing to be legally valid, but it is better if they are. A contract starts as soon as an offer of employment is accepted. Starting work proves that you accept the terms and conditions offered by the employer. This should include details of things like pay, holidays, and working hours. Some people might assume that a contract of employment consists of only those things that are set out in writing between an employer and an employee. It is true that many of the main issues, such as pay and holidays, are usually agreed in writing. But the contracts are also made up of terms that have not been spelled out. This is either because they are, first, too obvious to mention. For example, you would not expect a contract to say that an employee will not steal from an employer. Secondly, necessity to make the contract work. For example, if you are employed as a driver, it is assumed that you have a valid driving license. Third, custom and practice. Some terms of contract can become established over time. In legal terms, everything has to be on paper for the benefit of the employee and the employer. However, some things are met on mutual understandings and agreement between both parties. For example, negotiating on various things such as pay and benefits. It may be difficult for employees to demand certain things. However, negotiation is possible. If an agreed organization truly believes in you, they will hire you no matter what. Economical relationship. There are many factors which affect the employability as well as the organization throughout the world. However, even though there are social, political, and environmental factors which may be a high risk to the international organization, but the main factor which is also affecting the other three are the economical factors. According to Crowley 2013, economical relationship is like what the employees that has a contract with their owner regarding financial. These factors play the main role within the relationship when signing a contract with the employment. Employees that are signing a contract with the company are formally trading their skills. In turn, they are being paid as well as being rewarded. This type of relationship is like an organization selling products and consumer buying the product. Employment is looked at the same way as an economic relationship between a manager who is paying and the employee who is receiving. The economical relationship between the employee and the employer are affected by the level of demand as well as the supply due to labor. Gary Dessler clearly stated that there are many countries which are still developing, so in order for them to employ people, they are investing in foreign countries to grow their population. They do this by cheap labor rates compared to USA, Japan, and Western European destinations. According to Crowley 2013, many organizations have relocated their business to a lower labor market as they will receive better revenue as well as benefit from low labor cost. They do this because managers need to be convinced that the employees they are sending to the other destinations to carry out assignments have suitable and upgraded facilities. This is why other organizations before doing a contract need to provide incentives which are impacted on the HR management. Examples are airlines that are operating within the UK and the employees from the UK will have to work within the UK employment law that may be different from their home country. Most employees in the UK are mostly part of the trade union which demand organizations to raise either their salary or give them other incentives. However, if the organization does not go by this law, then employees have more power to choose, and this causes them to go on strike as they have help from trade union as well as political power. However, even though many people living in the European destination are unemployed, the level of wages and employment are still high. This is why today many Europeans are being employed on lower basis from countries such as Moscow and Middle Eastern countries. This is why organizations will need to bring expatriates to training the host country's workforce. This means that every employee will still work under their home country employment law but can take more benefits such as higher wages rewards, which can sometimes cause other members think that they are being treated differently compared to the expatriates.
Political relationship. Political relationship towards international human resources has an effect. That's because international human resources need the ability to be able to work internationally. According to Crowley 2013, political relationship relates to the balance of bargaining power with employees and employers. It relates to the political power in which each the employer and employee has. For example, when an employee joins a trade union, Political environment can also affect a business which works international with worldwide organizations. There could be a conflict between those two countries which can make it difficult to have that relationship with one another. The political power. It has an effect on employee relations with the departments. Therefore, there is human rights law where employees have the right to discuss issues where they're not happy with. Moreover, political relations and policy and power issues, both internal and external to organizations. This can affect a workplace and a working environment. The nature and stability of political systems vary from country to country. US firms are accustomed to a relatively stable political system, and the same is true in many of the developed countries in Europe. Although presidents, prime ministers, premiers, governors, senators, and representatives may change, the legal systems are well established, and global firms can depend on continuity and consistency. However, in many nations, the legal and political systems are unsettled. Some government regularly are overthrown by military coups in some parts of the world. One part rule has led to corruption, while in others there are so many parties that governments change constantly. According to The Economic of 2012, HR regulations and laws vary among countries in character and detail. In many Western European countries, laws on labour and unions employment make it difficult to reduce the number of workers because required payments to former employees can be very high. As the HR perspective, equal employment exists to varying degrees. In some countries, laws addresses issues such as employment discrimination and sexual harassment. In others, because of religious and ethnic differences, employment discrimination may be accepted practice. All these factors reveal that it is crucial for HR professionals to conduct a comprehensive review of the political environment and employment-related laws before beginning operations in a country. The role and nature of labour unions should be part of that review.